Hey everyone, my name is Percy Jules, and today we're gonna look at a question that someone posted on YouTube as a comment to one of my videos, one of my previous videos. So Christopher Williams says, please show me how to install Nexus and other plugins in Studio One. Okay, now, as I already mentioned on YouTube as a response, is that unfortunately I don't have any experience with Nexus. I don't have any experience with installing this program, so I couldn't really tell you. But if there's someone out there who does have experience with this particular plugin, then please leave a comment for Christopher and anyone else who wants to know how to install this program. So I couldn't really tell you. What I can tell you though is that usually installing plugins in general, but also in Studio One, is very simple to do. It's very easy to do because most brands, especially the most prominent brands, they give you some kind of installer program, some kind of setup program that you can use to very easily download and install their products with. So let me give you some examples. So for instance, Spectrasonics, if you want to download one of their plugins, for example, Omnisphere, I think you still need the DVDs to install it. So when you insert one of the DVDs, the first one obviously, and open it up, you'll be greeted with this window. And this is for Mac users, but I know from experience that in Windows it kind of looks pretty similar. And they already tell you from the start you will be guided through the steps necessary to install this software. That means that if you just follow the step-by-step instructions, the program will be installed very easily. So let's look at it a little bit. If you click next, you can read some more information, and then you can determine where you want to install the program on which disk. And again, just follow these instructions and it will be installed. Very easy. Now let's look at XLN Audio. Now XLN Audio gives you a download installer tool. It looks kind of like this. The way to install one of their plugins, the plugins will show up here. The way to install them is by simply clicking Add Now, and I think you will have to click Install after that, but with 2 clicks their plugin is installed. And with this program you can also register their products, you can open a manual, you can also even move the data from that plugin to another location on your computer. So it makes it very easy to install plugins this way. Now moving on to Native Instruments. Native Instruments has a very similar program which is called Native Access. It looks something like this, and it's similar to the XLN installer. You can just install, register products, very easy. Now today I just installed, or actually reinstalled, I also have it on my older computer, a free plugin by Audio Damage. It's called Rough Rider. It's a compressor. They don't have a real fancy installer program. So the way to install their program is just to download it. What you get is a zipped file. So just unpack it and then go to the appropriate installer. Just double click it and you'll be greeted with, well, yes, you'll be greeted with this. This is also a kind of installer program. Just click next and just install it. And even that is very, very easy to do. Now, some older plugins, I don't know if they still exist. They probably do. With some older plugins, you just have to copy and paste some of the downloaded files, and that is the way to install them on your computer. But even that is very easy. So I'm absolutely not a tech nerd. Well, I might be a nerd, I don't know, but not a techie one anyway. So, but even I've never run into never run into any problems with installing any plugins. So it's very simple, it's very easy to do, and I think anyone can do it. Now, how do you get your plugins to show up in Studio One? Now, the first thing you need to do is whenever you install a program, a plugin, you need to know where it is stored on your computer. Which location is it stored? Because you need to tell Studio One where to look for your plugin. There are some plugins that Studio One adds automatically. You can read so in the manual. So AU, VST, and Rewire enabled plugins and applications have their own preset file path. So those will be added automatically. And again, I'm not a techie guy, so I don't know exactly how it works, but apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently they have their own fixed location. They will always be stored to a fixed location, so Studio One always knows where they are. Otherwise, you will have to tell Studio One where to look for your plugins. Now, how to do that is just go up here to Studio One, go to Options, go to Locations, and go to VST Plugins. Now, in this area right here, you can see all the locations that I have selected for Studio One to search for plugins. As you can see, I have 4 locations, which is a bit much. Many people are a bit more tidy than me. They have maybe 1 or 2 locations. Whenever they install a program, they install a plugin, they always store it in that location, so they always knows where they are, where the plugins are. That might be a good tip for you also. I haven't been all that tidy, so as you can see, I have 4 different locations, but it doesn't matter. As long as you install a program and store it in one of those locations, you don't have to do anything. If you install a plugin in another location, what you need to do is to add that location so that Studio One will search that location too. To do that, simply click Add, search that location, and just select that folder and select folder, obviously. And that way, next time Studio One starts up, you can see this box is checked. That means that every time Studio One starts up, it will scan all those locations. Now, one last thing I want to point out is that you don't necessarily need to close Studio One and start it back up again for it to search your locations. On the right here, you can see this very handy button which says Update Plugins. When you click that, it will also search your locations, and when it finds a new plugin, it should be added to either the instrument list or the effects list, and that's actually it. That's how you do it. So it's very simple. Again, I think anyone can do this, and that's how you do it. So I hope this helps. For now, I just want to thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.